Hey, my lovely listeners. If you love stories full of suspense and adrenaline, this scene is for you. Fear, chaos, a demonic stare, and an unexpected savior. Listen now, and don't forget to follow so you don't miss what's next. So, Can was asleep. Her breath came slowly, evenly, as though she were drifting in a world far from this one. Beside her sat Han-san, unmoving, eyes fixed on her face, as if blinking might make her vanish. But she had told him not to come. Strange, her voice had never sounded so sweet before. It wasn't a prayer. It wasn't a command. It was barely a whisper of longing. But to him, it was forbidden music. She had called out because she had no other choice. Because if the nightmare came, only he could protect her. Han-san leaned closer, gently brushing his fingers against her hand, lifting it to his lips. Her dreams, they were something else entirely, not just delicious. No, they were a full-body symphony. Every sense played its part, and then something more, something nameless, humming inside his core. It was pure pleasure, subtle, dangerous, like a drug too strong to resist. He remembered the first time he tasted her dream. That moment had changed everything. It was an addiction, a cold needle in his skin, a burning light behind his eyelids, a thirst that would never be quenched. And her nightmares, they were 20 years old, aged like wine, aged like ancient relics, bitter, beautiful, priceless. No, he could never share her. That would be unjust. The next day, after a long day of filming, So-kan, Han-san, and Samyeon were driving home. The car glided through the glowing evening city, everything calm, peaceful, nothing hinting at what was to come. At the wheel, Samyeon looked back and grinned. Since we finished early today, how about grilling some meat on the rooftop? All three of us. Han-san was about to nod when, great idea, but I can't tonight. So-kan said quickly, a little sheepish. I've got a dinner. Ivan invited me. Silence fell in the car, like something had been sliced. Han-san turned his head sharply, like a predator startled from stillness. Where exactly are you meeting? His voice was too level, too quiet. Later that night, So-kan really was sitting across from Ivan in a cozy corner of the restaurant. The soft lamplight danced on their glasses, in her eyes, glowing faintly from wine and laughter. They laughed easily. The moment was warm, almost effortless. Ivan offered, if the food doesn't disappoint you tonight, how about we do this again? So-kan smiled, tilting her head. I'm enjoying it here, so yes, let's. She picked up her sun hat, smiled gently, and said, just a minute, I'll be back. Restroom. Her voice was calm, but inside, there was a tremor. As she walked through the restaurant, her eyes moved of their own accord, scanning faces, silhouettes. She was looking for him. Han-san had promised to stay near, promised to remain in the shadows, but never truly vanish. And then she saw him. He sat there, as always, with perfect posture, too still, too present, as if he'd been poured into the space by the bar. Even in the flicker of neon lights and the hum of voices, his presence was impossible to ignore. And yet, no one seemed to see him. No one noticed. That was what made it frightening. His face, too sharp, too vivid, almost unreal. He couldn't be overlooked, but somehow he was invisible. Their eyes met. He looked at her steadily, without emotion. No smile, no accusation. And yet, she felt a strange relief. He didn't storm over, didn't shatter the fragile calm of the evening, but something in her gut whispered, if he had wanted to, they would never have been left alone. When she returned from the restroom, his seat was already empty. Where had he gone? Surely he wouldn't leave without a word? Back at the table, Ivan smiled and waved her over. Come on, before dinner gets cold. They finished their meal in near silence, wrapped in a kind of quiet peace. From time to time, Ivan glanced at her curiously. I don't think I've ever seen you eat like this, he admitted. Your appetite, it's amazing. Maybe it's because I've finally been sleeping well, she murmured, eyes dropping to her cup. Good. Sleep's the most important thing. Ivan agreed. His tone was soft, friendly. No mention of Han-san. No hint of their last argument. Just calm acceptance. If you're okay, then everything's fine. Oh, right, she remembered. Didn't you say you wanted to talk about something? Ivan raised his brows, as if suddenly recalling. Yeah, I've decided to do my own photo exhibition. It'll open this winter. He hesitated, then added, I'd really like to photograph you. Wow. And all the proceeds are going to charity. So-kan arched a brow, surprised. So, this dinner was a bribe? Her voice held a teasing note, but her gaze was sharp. I told you to check the papers at home, Ivan said, a little embarrassed, looking away. So-Kan blinked. She had just uncovered a new layer of him, something quiet and hidden, buried deep. His support for volunteers, for charity groups, it didn't fit her usual image of him, and he wasn't flaunting it. He had simply stayed silent. The pause stretched on, and silence thickened between them, like the air before a storm. At last, Ivan couldn't hold it in. So, is that a yes? So-Kan lifted her gaze. Her eyes were soft, with a hint of mischief. I don't see a reason to refuse, she replied with a light, effortless smile. And I'd be happy to work with the esteemed photographer. This year, she added, lifting a brow in playful curiosity. Yes, Ivan answered shortly. Then, after a moment, shall we go? So-Kan chuckled quietly, her fingers tracing the rim of her cup. Really? The moment you get a yes, you're ready to rush home? Sorry. Ivan gave a sheepish smile. I barely had any rest last week. I just want a bit of quiet. Should I call you a cab? No need, she replied calmly. Someone's coming to pick me up. That bodyguard from the last shoot. Ivan asked, his voice tinged with irritation. The multitasker? Guard, driver, manager. So-Kan didn't flinch. Her voice remained even, though a faint shadow of a smile crossed her lips. The director chose the staff carefully. Ivan looked at her seriously, and with something like understanding. It must be hard, working with him? So-Kan didn't get the chance to answer. Her phone vibrated, almost absently. She glanced at the screen. A message from Han-san. I'm nearby. When you're done, I'll be waiting at the entrance. He couldn't stay away. He couldn't leave her alone, and he hadn't. He had promised to stay close, and he had kept his word. Suddenly, the restaurant jolted with a shout. A harsh, drunken voice tore through the air like a blade. Do you even know who I am? Get out of my face. Call the cops? Or whoever the hell you want. Instinctively, Ivan moved, shielding So-Kan with his body. He leaned close to her ear. Let's go. Now. The shouting grew more furious, and guests began to turn their heads. Some backed away. Others grabbed their coats. Everyone was waiting for an explosion. And it came. Something whistled past So-Kan's head. A glass bottle shattered against the wall, and shards rained down like ice at her feet. So-Kan froze. A single second, and everything turned distant. She saw it all as if through water. Are you okay? Ivan wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Don't stop, move. Get to the exit. They were nearly running, but then another scream ripped through the air. Ghastly, brutal, animalistic. Stop. Where the hell do you think you're going? I said stop. So-Kan spun around, her eyes locked with his. But they weren't just eyes. They were the eyes of a demon. Eyes emptied of anything human. He had broken free from the guards, his body jerking like a puppet on strings. He moved like a beast. Panic exploded like gunpowder. People screamed, shoved, stumbled. Someone fell. Someone dragged someone else. A woman hit the floor and wailed. Chaos erupted everywhere. And then suddenly, So-Kan realized she had lost Ivan. The crowd, the panic, the terror, it all tore them apart. The restaurant had turned into a nightmare. She screamed. Into the air. Into the sky. Into nothing. Help me. Please, someone. And then, a hand seized hers. A whisper. Warm. Quiet. Steady. Come here. With me. She froze. His arms were strong, warm, grounding. His voice. Calm and certain. They stood in the middle of the storm, and around them, silence fell. It was him, Han-san. His presence washed away the fear. She leaned into him like a shipwreck survivor reaching the shore. As soon as the door opens, you run. Got it. His voice was steel, but there was something tender beneath it. You can do it. So-Kan nodded. Was this a dream? Reality? Her mind didn't have time to decide, but her heart knew one thing. He had saved her. Again. Thank you for being with me. Let me know in the comments, did you enjoy this story or not?